Stories like this just give you a little bit of hope that gold could still be found in raw form, but mostly you would have to live in Australia for this to be the case. However, I have heard, even fairly recently, of people that live out in Colorado and other places in the western United States that have been able to find smaller nuggets, but this one is a doozy. And this thing is $160,000 worth of gold in a 10-pound rock using a low-end metal detector from this headline from Insider. And we're going to go into that and so much more with this piece and this story from a couple of different sources because they say different things as we explore. Saw this in the news about a day ago, and several of you have actually contacted me about this. And I looked over in my research and found that there's a couple of different reports on it. It's not just sourced from one agency. We're going to take a look at some of the details from a couple of these different stories here from the Insider. This is the only place that tells us that I've seen the actual weight of the amount of gold in the nugget. It's 82 ounces of gold worth about $160,000. And it is pretty amazing. That's U.S. dollars, by the way. And this was found apparently last year. It's just now being reported here. Let's take a look at some more information from The Guardian that gives us a little bit more detail here. This is $250,000 in Australian money because this is The Guardian Australia version. It has a little different picture as well, too, as you can see. More than 170 years since Australia's gold rush ended, one man has unearthed a nugget worth almost 250,000 Australian dollars in Victoria's gold fields. The man found the 4.6 kilogram gold rock using an amateur metal detector in Victoria's Golden Triangle between Bendigo, Ballarat, and St. Arnaud. And you've heard me talk about the Golden Triangle before on this channel. When the prospector took his find into Darren Kemp's prospecting store in Geelong, Lucky Strike Gold, he asked the owner, "Do you think there's a $10,000 worth of gold in it?" Kemp said he often gets people coming in with fool's gold, but as soon as the weight of it hit his hands, I looked at him and said, "Try $100,000. Yes, for those of you who don't know, and this is why I've encouraged on my channel, that if you are a stacker of silver, I encourage you to get some gold, and I'm encouraging you to actually get 1 full ounce of gold. That's my challenge to you this year. To hold 1 ounce of gold in your hand gives you a full appreciation for just the sheer density of the metal. It is an amazing, of all the metals that are tracked for precious metal trades, it is the second most dense, only behind platinum. And there's something about it. He said, but there's only half the rock. The other half is at home. Yeah, crazy. Kemp valued the rock in its entirety at $240,000 Australian at today's prices. That's $160,000 US, nearing global record highs for gold's price. The amount of gold in the rock came out at 83 ounces, is what this says. But hey, 83, we'll just say 82 to be safe. I've been prospecting for 43 years, and I haven't seen a specimen in this amount of gold in my 43 years of prospecting, Cam said. Maybe in the 1850s, there was probably a few around, but in today's terms, it's very rare. I've dreamt of finding something this big myself. The largest I've ever found prospecting was 24 ounces 12 years ago. Part of the prospector's incredible luck, Kemp said, is that he made the find with a $1,200 machine at the very lowest end of the pricing range for detectors, although I've got a $250 machine, so that's actually still a pretty high dollar one, but not by no means cheap, that's for sure. Kemp said that if the nugget had been any deeper than the 12 inches in the ground where it was found, only a more expensive machine could have picked it up. Kemp bought the nugget off the prospector and named it Lucky Strike. A multimeter test confirmed the gold was interconnected throughout the rock, he said. We're going to look at a more detailed picture from another source here in just a moment. The Geological Survey of Victoria has predicted there could be as much as 75 million ounces of undiscovered gold across the central and north central Victorian gold fields, compared with 80 million ounces which has been mined from the area since the days of the gold rush. Lenny Hindle, the president of the Bendigo branch of the Prospectors and Miners Association of Victoria, said if a big nugget is found, it always creates a new gold rush. Yes, I can imagine. In fact, there's been shows about Australian gold hunting, and Australia is unique because it is one of the few places where you can just walk around and literally find gold nuggets on the ground. I mean, it's not like they're everywhere, but nonetheless, they are still out there, and it's a big enough country that someone could discover some. In fact, I remember reading a story about somebody who found like a 3-ounce, pretty much pure gold nugget with just a little bit of quartz in it, and just walking around and just saw it. That's pretty incredible. Hindle said the popularity of gold prospecting had grown, and a total of 50,000 people currently hold a miner's right in Victoria. 50,000 people, man. And the $25.50 license lasts for 10 years without one. Any gold found belongs to the Crown. Ian Holland, a professional gold miner of 40 years' experience and president of the Ballarat branch of the association, said, "It's not like a hell of a lot of gold's being found, but there's more people out there than ever. When I used to drive around looking for gold in the Crown land, you used to see 1 car a week. Now you'll see 5 a day. That's how much it's grown." The 2 biggest nuggets Holland has found in the Victoria goldfields add up to 122 ounces, which valued at today's gold price would have been about $366,000, he said. That's Australian dollars. Lucky Strike is not the biggest nugget ever found in Australia. That honor belongs to the Welcome Stranger, found near Maliogo, Victoria in 1869, which yielded 2,300 ounces of gold. Some of you may remember in past videos I've actually showcased a coin, the Australian Nugget from 2019 that has the Welcome Stranger on it. And by the way, the first time that was minted, I think, was in 1987. Australian Nugget that has the Welcome Stranger, which is the largest gold nugget ever found. So that's pretty fascinating. We go back to this story from the Insider, and there is a part here that talks about what happened, with this 83 ounce nugget. Well, it's a shame that we've been broken into 2 halves about this one. Imagine if it would have been together, but you could see a lot of gold in the rock with it broken in half. But Camp thinks his find will motivate amateur prospectors to venture out in search of similar lucky strikes in the next few weeks. Hobbying prospectors go out on a weekend and might be happy to find a couple $100 of gold. But the price of a single ounce of gold in Australia is $1,962. In 2013, an Australian prospector found a $295,000 gold nugget weighing 177 ounces in Ballarat. Can you imagine that? Wow, more than double the size of the one that was found here this past November. Now, another group of gold diggers discovered 2 nuggets worth $250,000 near Tarnagula in 2020. So that is something else. That's pretty amazing. So in 2013, there was a much bigger nugget found, but man, imagine finding something like that. The exhilaration, the amazement of that. It's just amazing to think about. You want to talk about found precious metal treasure. There it is. By the way, this video will be going in a playlist of other videos like this, where people have found gold either inside of a piano or just happen to go do some digging around and find gold nuggets or gold coins somewhere. I've got a whole playlist of multiple videos, and they're timeless stories because it's always amazing to see found the precious metal treasure and people getting rich from it. Now, CNN, of all places, has probably the best pictures of this, and they've done their own story on it and talked a little bit about this piece here. It's the Lucky Strike Nugget, and was taken in a prospecting shop. But nonetheless, this thing was pretty amazing. He says, when it hit my hand, my jaw dropped with it, Camp told CNN. It was incredible, once-in-a-lifetime find. And there are the 2 halves there. Darren Camp, who valued the rock at $160,000, saw that it was split in 2 by the discoverer. Man, $160,000 between 2 hands? Pretty amazing indeed. The rock was very dirty, so the spotter, who does not want to be named, could not see the gold on the outside of it when he cracked it into two because he thought there would be a gold nugget inside, said Camp. Once it was cleaned up, you could see the gold just come oozing out of the rock everywhere. And the prospector used a MineLab Equinox 800 detector. So that's actually worth $800 US, but that's the actual detector type there. So a little more detail there, but about what it can do. There is a picture of one of the halves. Look at that gold intermixed in there. Look at this chunk right there. Amazing. Yeah, see how it just goes through the veins there? That is incredible. Amazing to see. You know, gold is mostly found in quartz, so it does make sense to see that there, but pretty wild. Amazing indeed. There it is. What an amazing story this is. And it's just kind of amazing, too, how different news sources report on the same story in different ways, do their own interviews and the like. But just take another gander at that gold nugget. Something else. What a story this is. So, amazing news story. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. And I want to leave you with this special message from the former President of the United States.
I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all